Neil, Thurrock Lifestyle Solutions here in 2016. Since you signed the dotted line with the council, so to speak, what would you say have been your main achievements?
Gosh, that's 3 years has gone really fast. I mean, obviously the company was formed in 2007, and then it took us that long before we actually got the big contract from the council. Really, our achievements have just been expansion. I mean, we now employ. So in 2013, I'd say we probably had about, before the two people from the council, we had about 8 or 9 people on the books regularly. We're now up to 120 people that we employ, so we're huge. It's quite scary at times when you expand that fast to keep your quality going, etc. And we're doing about 3,000 hours a week of support, so that makes us, one of the major players locally.
Are you where you thought you would be?
I think we've exceeded it massively, to be honest. We were really pleased that people with learning disabilities, they genuinely are my boss, and we were really pleased that as experts by experience they come up with all these good ideas. But we've come up with really, really good stuff that we do out there in the community, how we support people and all the different achievements that we've done that we're very pleased about. So we have the House in Transition, which is to support people moving from home for the first time into the community. There's been 12 people that have gone through that, and there are another 3 in there at the moment, and they've all moved on and are successfully living in the community, which is fantastic.
What's the politics like? Have you still got a day-to-day challenges up the road with the council?
I think it's really difficult because luckily enough Lynn came to see us recently, Lynn Carpenter, the chief exec, and she was great, to be honest. But the truth is she stopped saying, the difference in the council now, I'd honestly say, is they've stopped saying we've got no money to saying actually we spend £110 million a year, can you help us spend it effectively? I mean, that's not what she said to me, but that's where they're at as the officers. So the relationship is different. It was always going to be quite difficult. We got that contract through a single tender process, which we were delighted about, but already the money's been cut out of it, and that makes life difficult for us. So we have to have quite difficult conversations, but the secret is not to go, oh no, we've got no money. What we tend to say is, right, can we try and work together to come up with a solution that's a win-win? So the stuff that we're busy doing now out in Stamford towards supporting people with autism will give them the right service that they want, but also save the council money, so everyone's a winner.
Where do you have sort of like a 1 year? I mean, you have your annual general meetings,
sure.
don't you?
Yeah,
and those are great. That's almost the,
celebration, really.
With John there, John Paddock there with the nuts and bolts. But also the celebration. Does that that day sort of encapsulate what you're about?
Yeah, it does. I mean, to be honest, with the AGM, it's a bit like organising a party and you're thinking, well, is anyone going to turn up? I think last year there was 220 there. We're probably expecting even more this year. I think it does encapsulate what we're about, bringing people together, having a good time, being completely transparent about what we're doing with our profits and where they're going so that the community can benefit.
And your directors, they're coming and going today. I've seen Anne just go, Sonny just go, and they still take a full role here. Yeah,
it's difficult because I think a lot of people look at me like I'm completely crazy when I say my directors have learning disabilities, or if I'm out with Sonny and he says I'm his boss, people laugh. Of course, what it is it's an equal value partnership relationship. That's developed over many, many years. I spend a whole day with my directors every Wednesday. There's not many charities or other organisations that will do that with their trustees. So we spend a lot of time listening and learning from each other. We've been holding a monitoring action group here today, looking at people in transition and how we can support them. Loads of other people with learning disabilities around giving us information and advice and helping us develop the service. So it is very real.
Of course, we lost Liam.
Yeah,
we lost Liam.
It's nearly a year actually coming up.
Yeah. And I've just mentioned name checked. You see people dotted around the bar, whether it's seeing Sonny or Anne here, or I see Danny Green over at East Thurrock United. But is there a next generation coming through?
Yeah. Part of some of the people that you might have seen as you came in today is one of the reasons we run 9 monitoring action groups that meet here every Wednesday afternoon on a complete cycle. So every 9 weeks we have a group of people that we've been supported by Matthias to do some self-advocacy work with, and some other people that have been involved, that they come along and they're like in training to be the next directors. Because the truth is, as a director of a company, the same as I am on several charities, you have responsibilities. You can't pretend you haven't. You may be limited by guarantee to £1, but if you make poor decisions, that's serious. So we have to train the guys up to really understand what that means. And then we have an oversight group that will support them if there's any decisions they are being asked to make that they're worried about.
Your organisation finally is seen as a role model. You've seen other organisations. I think Peterborough you see is very good. But would you like to see out with Thurrock the model rolled out?
It's a difficult one. I think back in 2007 when we formed the company, the world was a very different place, and circumstances meant it was the right thing to do, and we've proved the point that we can save the council money. Services we like to think are better quality, but that's for others to judge, and we like to think that we can come up with innovative ideas and make things happen quickly. So our camper van idea, that was discussed on a Wednesday, we were on eBay on Friday, it got delivered 4 weeks later. Trust me, in the council that would have taken 3 months of cabinet meetings and goodness knows what, because it's a big institution, because it has to be, because it's public money, it has to go through all those processes, whereas for us, make the decision, let's make something happen, let's get out there and do it, and we can take risks.
You mentioned your camper van. I remember seeing the camper van there with Francis Maud.
Yes.
You had Jeremy Hunt.
Indeed.
Here as well. Do you still encourage, do you still would like to see politicians coming down and seeing you, or do you want to say to them, right, where's the beef? What's the purpose of your visit?
Yeah, it's very difficult really, because obviously as a successful social enterprise, people like to come and be photographed with us on occasion and hear our story to see if it can be done elsewhere, which we're happy to support because we want more social enterprises. So recently we've been talking to the School for Social Entrepreneurs to see if we can try and develop a whole new generation of social entrepreneurs in Thurrock, because I meet people that I think, do you know what, with a little bit of support you could form a really good business here. And so in terms of the politicians, as a community interest company, we're completely politically neutral, but it doesn't mean we can't talk to politicians, because of course they need to hear some of our stories to hear where there were things wrong. Something like Jeremy Hunt coming to visit us, because of all the issues with health action plans or health checks not happening locally, couldn't miss that opportunity. So we needed to tell him straight what was happening on the ground. So at times, yes, we will use it. At times we get invited to Westminster to talk to all parliamentary political groups and things like that. Sure, we're happy to do that.
And you just mentioned that subject, and finally, when it comes to being a pressure group, taking an issue like health checks, people with learning disabilities, yes, you've created the pressure, there's been the press, but are you getting anywhere?
It's a really good question. I mean, it's very difficult, because the truth is, the GPs in Thurrock, for the majority of people, are very poor quality. That's my experience. That's the experience of our customers. When you work with people with learning disabilities, they're often a microcosm for what's really going on for other people. So the truth is, there's an enormous amount of pressure with GPs. The poor souls, you know, but to be honest, for some of them it's a completely thankless task. Having said that, in Thurrock there are 1 or 2 amazing GPs that have done fantastic work, but there are many that are struggling. The clinical commissioning group know this. We've been working with them to try and come up with innovative solutions, and to be honest, they've been very honest with us about this is a difficult problem, try and help us solve it. So we will run health days, we will work with our partners in Batias and other places. Health Watch have been critical to this, so that we can try and just push the agenda. But the truth is, there's only so much you can do from the outside to get people to appointments, to make them understand what's happening. The reality is you actually just need a GP to be willing to do it, and there are quite a few that can't do it or won't do it in Thurrock.
Still enjoying it?
I love it. I think I'm slightly crazy, because every Monday morning when I get up, I can't wait to get to work. I love my job, it's a great privilege. I spend all day talking to fantastic people. What more could you ask for?